conversations about how women of color maintain mental health through finding peace, life choices, and of course, self-love. I am your host, Renee Winters. Well, welcome once again, oh my goodness, to another podcast of Keeping Queens in Balance. And today I have a wonderful queen sitting in front of me. It's Ylorie Taylor. Thank you for being here. Woo-woo!
Thank you for having me, Renee.
Yes. So happy to have you here. So let me share a little bit about you with my followers, okay? So I'll read this wonderful bio that you have. Ylorie Taylor has spent the past decade plus building and leading personal care and beauty brands servicing the multicultural consumer. Known for her ability to cultivate relationships, ideate winning strategies, and curate platforms to give exposure to emerging indie brands, Ylorie began consulting in 2008 under the moniker Brown Girl Marketing, and that's how I found you. She has dedicated her beauty career to supporting brands and helping companies better connect with women of color, and I love that. A candid truth teller, yes, wife, mompreneur, and chief connections officer for many of your favorite brands. Ylorie lives a very full life, and we're definitely going to talk about that. And that's why you're here today, to kind of share how you balance all that. You got a lot going on. So most days you'll find her living out her purpose and passions while serving as the vice president for EDEN Bodyworks. So welcome. Yay, once again, yay. Excellent. So, Ylorie, so in terms of the bio I just shared with my followers, is there anything else you want to add in there? Anything I might have missed, or just something that's happened recently and you just want to share with my followers?
So I have been told that I really help brands get unstuck. And I'd like for people to know that, because I'm not like a solution. I am a solution-oriented person, but I'm not the person who's like, do this, it's going to work. I really help you get over your own hurdles, because a lot of times what works for Renee doesn't work for Ylorie, but there's some commonalities there into how we can get to the same destination with different paths. And so I really want brands to know I help you get unstuck. That doc connector is extremely important to me. So that chief connections officer, someone dubbed that to me like years ago.
I love it though. That's perfect. That's awesome.
My bio along the way, because I really think a lot of times people just need one connection or one resource or one talent or something that helps them get to the next thing. And I love to be that person.
That's awesome. That's excellent. And I see, on your social media that you are busy. You are everywhere. You are involved. You're engaged. You have a family going on. Amazing. So, you're perfect. You're perfect to be on here on this show about keeping queens in balance. So my question to you is, what allows you to maintain balance as a woman of color? What do you do for yourself? What is it that brings that balance to your world?
So don't be mad, but everyone who knows me, and I've written this in social, and so I don't want to be crucified for not saying it. I personally don't believe there's a such thing as balance. Okay, I believe there's harmony. And harmony bodes well in my life, because we just, from a work perspective with EDEN Bodyworks, partnered with Amazon Prime Video, and that collaboration, that opportunity to help bring Harlem, the new original series that's streaming now.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, let me talk about that.
So, that was like a labor of love, a lot of tasks, a lot of check-ins, and just a lot of, for a small indie brand. And I say that, and I tell people all the time, to me, every brand is small that's under 100 million, because you never know how many people are really sitting behind the scenes.
Right.
But for a small indie brand, it was a lot of work. But I think the rewards are amazing. We felt very aligned with the purpose of the show. We felt very aligned that our community and our followers would resonate highly with the show, with the demographics, with the storylines, with the characters. Everyone loves Megan Good, right? With all the characters. We know Grace Bryant from Empire, but we maybe didn't have a window into Jerry Johnson and the LGBT community, which she's amazing. And then Shaniqua is like giving us all that, like, brown girl, thick, hair, afro hair. Right. So, during the process of that, my stress levels were elevated.
Yeah.
I don't want to say they were super high, because I really try to have that balance personally, but they were definitely elevated during the week. that all the activities were going on. I was missing as a mom and a wife.
Yeah, of
My
course.
husband was shooting double duty. Hey, it's payback because he travels for his job. So
That's right. That's right.
there's no side eyeing here from him or me, because we both understand that our jobs are very important to who we are as people, and
Exactly.
collectively who we came together to be as a couple. Like,
And that's what it's
we
all
got
about.
married, we got married later in life. So we got married at 40, and then
Right.
there's 40, well, 39, but 39, 40. And
Right.
so when you do that, I think you've already established pretty much who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it changes your ability to, it doesn't change, but it definitely sets sets the tone for who you're going to be.
Right.
People evolve different ways in relationships and over time, but that's a really good example of when life was heavy work and it was so unbalanced here at home.
Right.
I try to do my part. I cook dinner so that there 2 nights of the 5 nights I was away, at least he would
Mm-hmm.
have, an opportunity for that, for the kids' sake, even if it's not for him, just to be
Right.
easy picking up from school and activities and after school and homework.
Right.
Like, the last thing you want to do is think about dinner. And no slight to men, because some men pull it off better than a lot of
Right.
us.
Of course. Of course. Yes.
My house, though, we are very traditional.
Right.
I told my husband, you married me because I could cook, clean, hold it down.
Right. And that's
So,
all good. That is all good, right? It's what works for
right,
you, for the two of you, and that's
right.
a
And
beautiful
then,
thing.
on Saturday, after all of that, he hired a sitter and we had a date night because
Oh,
we had just come back from Indiana visiting my family for a week. And so it just felt like we weren't connecting, together during
right,
all of this off time as well as, work time. So we're
right.
really just in our date nights. We reinstated them after the birth of our last son. We were doing,
Yes,
and then I was on bed rest and the baby, and then I battled postpartum depression. And so when
right.
we kind of got back into our routine, we wrote down, like, what are the 5 things that make us tick? And it's
Yes,
travel, it's date nights, and fun together outside of the kids. It's fun separately. And I
yes,
know
yes.
every couple doesn't feel like that, but my girls' trips and his boys' trips are very important to who we are
That's
collectively.
beautiful. Right, right.
Our community service through our sororities and fraternities, and those bonds are very important to us, and our friendships outside of our family. So we thought, let's nurture the things that make us the people that
I
we
love that.
with, so we can stay in love with each other
I
along the way.
love that. I love that. I love that. So, if I'm hearing you correctly in terms of, balancing yourself, a lot of that had to do with your partner in terms of balancing and communication with him, in terms of balancing that relationship and the harmony, if we want to use the word you used as well, because I think both words kind of interchange to me, because it's a bring about a certain balance and a harmony within my own spirit and who I am. So, how do you so you did that externally in terms of your relationship with your husband. What were you allowed to do? What were you able to do for yourself through that process? Was there anything that you did taking time for yourself?
Hello,
Let's
hello,
talk.
manicure. Hello,
Okay. All right.
hello, facial. So
So some self-care.
I'm not big on massages. I am big on facials. I am huge on sleep. I
Okay.
literally, on the nights when I'm pulling like 11 to 1 a.m. type of nights, I make
Yes.
sure that somewhere in the 7-day course that I'm also getting in an 8:30 or a 9:30 type of
Right.
sleep
Okay.
hour. So
All
my
right.
body has a chance to recharge. I realize that I can be a meaner person.
Yeah. What? Yeah, I think we all can, right?
Lack of sleep, my temperature, my attention span gets shorter. With the kids, my patience levels are different. So I'm
Right.
trying to be very cognizant
Yes.
of what. It's funny. We have a son. Our middle child is on the spectrum. He lives with autism.
Right.
So we watch his triggers, but it's teaching me to watch my own triggers as well.
Yes.
So I'm
Yes.
learning
Yes.
from him the things that trigger me, and I don't want
Right.
to be short with my kids when they need time. I don't want to be short with my husband,
Of course.
because those words don't sound kind to him, even though, I didn't mean them in some derogatory manner.
Right.
So for me, it was, oh gosh, my nails need to be done.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as everything ended, I did a half day of work. That
Mm-hmm.
way I could, if it was, in my case, I did some laundry, and then I just went to Starbucks and
Right.
had a caramel frappuccino and sat outside. It happened to be like 50s. I
Yeah.
just caught up with one of my girlfriends on the phone because I realized we text a lot, we send a lot of pictures.
Yes.
But when's the last time you were tempted and you're like, oh, let me call Ylorie, see what she's doing. I'm just gonna shoot
Yes.
her a text. But
Yes.
a girlfriend of mine was like, I thought about you for days, and I was
Oh,
like, let me just call. And I said,
right.
yeah, I need to do the same thing. I think about women a lot, and I'll text and say, hey, girl, just thinking about.
Yes, right. And that's what we do. It's easy now. That's what you do in the midst of everything else. I was thinking about you, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So So for me, self-care, everyone's different, right? So a facial,
No.
you can send me a facial any single day you want to send me something.
I love that. No, Ylorie, I definitely love
Manicure.
that because I think that's also, I've been posting a lot about the self-love aspect of it because I think that's all those pieces that tie into the balance of keeping us, as queens together, and that self-love is essential. So making time for yourself,
Oh yeah, yeah. And I took myself for coffee. I
right,
had a frappuccino, but same thing, right? So I took myself for coffee. I didn't have to make a date and worry about somebody meeting me there. I
right.
took myself and I spent an hour just sipping
Wow.
slowly
Aw, that's
and
nice. Right.
doing whatever it was. I was like retail therapy somewhat during that time. Sometimes I was just people watching, and other times I was making some to-do list or task, but it felt very I don't know what the word is. It didn't feel like it had to be a priority. It felt optional. And that's
Right.
sometimes we don't give ourselves the space to do what
Yes.
we want to do, how we're feeling
Yes.
in the moment. And I wanted to
Yes.
have that moment.
I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it because I think that is all a part of what we as women have to do for ourselves, and that self love. We give so much of ourselves,
Oh my
and
gosh.
especially if you have a career, you have children, you
Yeah.
have your husband, you have
Mhm.
all these different pieces that we are as women keep together.
Yep.
We keep it all together.
Yeah.
So, hearing you say, I make a priority self-love, and giving myself that time to just be,
Hmm.
just relax, just be by myself or call up a girlfriend or do all those things that make me feel better is essential. And I love that. I definitely love that. So let me ask you this. What would you tell other women of color about self-love? What would you tell them about how to attain it, how to get it, how to make time? Is there any recipe that you have in terms of making this work for you?
So it's funny. I work at Eden. We have a hashtag Discover Eden. It
Hmm.
couldn't be more pertinent to discovering who you are every day. I
Oh,
mean, I'm
yeah.
so different after 3 kids than I was single or married with no kids.
Yes.
And this last kid to throw me into postpartum depression
Oh,
was
wow. Wow.
an experience because I hadn't dealt with that before. And
Right.
maybe COVID had something to do with that. I don't even know if COVID wasn't there. I think I still would have done it because I
Right.
just felt incredibly lost in motherhood. Like it
Yeah.
was
Can you share a little bit about that? Like, what was that like, and how did you
consuming.
get over that?
This was the first kid I was able to breastfeed, and
Right.
I am 100% for it.
Yes. Yes.
It also I was exclusively doing it. It was exhausting.
It is.
There were no bottles. There was
Yes.
lack of sleep. There's still other kids in the house.
Yes.
And one day, my husband, we went to the beach Labor Day weekend,
Hmm.
and I was like, my breasts are leaking. I'm gonna go. Like I'm gonna go in the ocean rather than breastfeed because right now
Right.
this is the first time I've had like a freedom of more than 2 hours from
Right.
this kid hanging off my
Right. Right.
right. And that
Listen, I
weekend,
breastfed too. I breastfed both my kids almost a year and a half for each.
oh
Almost close to
wow.
2 years. Yeah. So
Oh.
I know, girl.
So I was like, I came home and I cried, and my husband was like, what's wrong? And I was like,
Right.
I don't want to breastfeed anymore. Like the freedom I felt
Yeah.
today, I
Yeah.
need that because I'm
Yeah.
like slowly disappearing, and I can't
Yeah.
figure out how to undisappear. And maybe that's one step. It wasn't the answer. So don't let
Right.
me, I don't want people to crucify me and come for me because I 100% am all for breastfeeding. I tried
Yeah.
with our other son, and he was not able, but he was still getting breast milk. He just was getting it from a bottle. So
Right. Right. Right.
they're look, fed is best. I don't care how y'all feed y'all kids. My kids ended up on formula at some point too.
Right. Right. Right.
I
Right.
don't care how people feed their kids, just have those happy fat babies that we all love to see on Instagram and everywhere.
I know.
But again, I feel like back to your question, the word
Hmm.
for me is continue to discover who you are. You are
Yes.
not who you are at 25 and 35 and 45 and 60. You're
Yeah.
not who you are at 18 or 21. And here's the funny thing, you're not even who you are last year or maybe even last month or last
Right.
week. So
Right.
okay, your taste in clothes may change. Your taste in men or women, depending on what you
Yes. Yes. Right. Right.
partner, your taste in your friendships may shift. And
Yes.
I have another saying that says shift happens instead
Yep.
of,
Yep.
shift
Yep.
happens. your hometown, you may not be feeling it anymore. Your apartments may not be doing it for you anymore. And it can be as simple as changing the sofa, changing the paint, or changing the neighborhood. So I want women to know,
yes,
continue to discover yourself.
yep,
And every time you feel the energy to move,
yep,
shift.
shift.
Don't look
Yes,
back. Shift.
yes, I love
Because
it.
what it will do is vibrate you higher. Even if
Mm-hmm.
it's a wrong move and you discover, I really loved Brooklyn and I moved to Queens. This is just
Right,
and that's my personal example, right? I loved Brooklyn, but I moved to Queens for relationship and other reasons. But I missed the neighborhoods, the people saying hello. My friends were all in Brooklyn. I was like,
yes,
wow, I made this move and I
but
didn't
it ain't
capture
right for me.
all the things I was going to be missing. So let me now go somewhere else, because
Right,
those things
right,
feed you. Those things feed your soul. And sometimes
yes,
you do them, you don't know the repercussions until afterwards. So again, continue to discover who you are, because
yes,
you will change. Your eye colors you will be a red lip one day and a brown
yes,
dude. You will be a nail
right.
polish or a nail design. You will be
I
a
love
V-neck
it.
shirt, a bikini from a one piece. You will be so many things in life.
Right,
Do
right.
not hold on to who you were yesterday
I love it.
and stalemate who you could be tomorrow.
That's right. I love that. I love that. So really discovering yourself, taking that time to discover yourself will lead you to self-love, more self-love as well. Because the more we also discover about ourselves, we're like, wow, I didn't know that about myself. And, accepting who we are as we grow is essential.
Oh yeah,
you
absolutely.
know you know
Yeah.
and I think that's such an important thing to take away, that we grow. Every change, even the change, like you said, when you moved someplace else and realized, oh shoot, this is not the move for me, but
Right.
that growth was there for you, and the reflective piece for you as well. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. So I know you shared a little bit about the postpartum depression and how that made you feel. But what struggles have you overcome as a woman of color? You are where you are now, and doing some wonderful things. What struggles did you overcome? What got you here to this woman in front of me?
Wow. Faith.
Yes. Okay.
I am a firm believer in the Lord's plan
Mm-hmm.
and ordering my steps.
Right.
Whether I take those stairs that He puts in front of me all the time, that's a personal choice.
Right. Right. Right.
I definitely faith in having a religious connection or background,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as well as once you get to be an adult, I feel like you have to figure out your own level
Yes.
of whatever it is, spirituality. I don't know what generic term to use, but you have to come to that on your own realization. So
Right.
for me, faith over fear.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
had a son who was born at 24 weeks, and my cousin texts that to me every day for like
Wow.
30 days. He was in the hospital. Faith over
Right.
fear. Don't forget who you are. Don't forget
Right.
what you believe in. Don't break down now. Your strength is there. It's within you.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
I was on, I would say, mute. For someone
Mhm.
who is very vocal about things, I was muted because I was just trying to process and understand why this was happening to our family and
Right.
and my son is in here fighting for his life. And every day the
Right.
doctors are like, you have to show up because today could be the last day. So
Yes.
for me, I think faith for sure.
Right.
I would say friendships and
Mm.
family more
Right.
so. Um,
Right.
your sister girls will hold you up in ways
Mhm.
that you didn't know you needed. From telling you that dress is not the dress for you to telling you,
Right.
oh, look, girl, you look good. So I
Right.
think we cannot discount sisterhood,
Mm.
however it looks.
Right.
It's
Right.
different for everybody. And again, I feel like obstacles
Yeah.
probably. So I've moved a lot. I've lived in a lot of cities, which they say that takes a lot of courage. So
It
I'm
does.
a very courageous person because it's never bothered me to move because I always feel like when God opens a door and it's easy to walk through, I'm going to
Yes.
walk through it on
Right.
faith.
Go right through it, right?
I interview for a job and it's like, oh, we want you. Here's California. We're going to move you, pack you, pay your rent for 2 months while you I'm there. Because in my
Gone.
mind, it just was too easy.
Yes.
When it's
Yes.
really hard, I'm
Mhm.
always thinking like maybe this isn't the task or maybe this is
Right.
test of my faith, or maybe this is.
Right.
So when it's hard, I really think through it a lot, because I just don't believe God put us on earth to struggle like that.
Right, right. So do you not so when we talk about obstacles, is it that you don't view them as total obstacles and just something that will keep you growing? Like if someone says, "Okay, you have to move out to California or you have to do this XYZ," is it your perception of that particular thing? Because as I ask you about obstacles, um doesn't seem to be clear obstacles or some way you're envisioning those things.
I don't know. I feel like my biggest obstacle lately has been a little bit of jaded and staying in the beauty industry, in the natural hair and the hair
Hmm.
textured
Hmm.
multicultural space.
Right,
So
right.
to me, I'm like, should you be somewhere else with your passions and your talents and your purpose?
Okay,
That's really
okay.
lately been my thought process, and that all
Right.
through therapy and depression,
Yeah.
postpartum depression. So,
Right.
and I had a little bit of that itch prior. It
Right.
just very real in front of me. Like, are you still doing the things that you absolutely love? So, do I love being with Black women? Yes. Do I
Yes.
love working with a team and molding women and mentoring women and everybody that comes to work for me? I purposely am like, you're going to stay here 3 to 4 years and then you're going to go make double somewhere else, because I
Right.
train you to be an advocate and a voice somewhere else outside of Eden. Because here we get to be the Black girl voice, we get to touch
Hmm.
our hair, we get to do all
Yes.
the fun things. And I feel like
Yes.
so many opportunities need more people who can speak to that. So
Right.
I don't know that I have these big obstacles. Um,
Well,
Probably my most obstacles would be my
right.
internal obstacles. That's
Right.
honestly, I don't see them as external obstacles.
Right. Good. And that's what I guess that's why I was trying to differentiate, because as we speak, I think that what you see in front of you, you don't feel as an obstacle. It's either something that you're going to meet and move over. You know what I mean? It's more of an internal process for you.
Mhm.
And like you said, like a lot of us, is that am I fulfilling my purpose at this moment in time? Am I where I'm supposed to be? Am I done here?
Mm.
You know,
I ain't
or
done,
it's
girl. I ain't done. So much more living. I don't know if
yes.
I'm here in this particular spot, but
Yes, that's what that's what I mean, girl.
I know. A little fun, a little humor. Sorry.
I love it. I love it. I love it. No, I love it. So, okay, so you shared before about faith being something very important to you,
Mhm.
and self care and so forth. Um, what is your biggest takeaway or your biggest lesson that you've learned so far on your journey that is really resonates with you? What is your biggest lesson that you've learned?
To show up as yourself.
Okay. All right. Can you speak to that a little bit?
So I started my career at IBM, and I think I was always myself. I
Hmm.
feel like I get a little bit more flexibility to be myself because I'm now the big boss, right?
Right,
Versus,
right.
but in all honesty, I had a boss early on who, and to this day, this man, who would have known that his leadership would be some of the things that I would incorporate into my leadership?
Right,
But he reminded me day one, as a white male, I was on a team with 11 men and one white woman, all white.
right, right, right.
And he was like, you're coming into this, you're 21, you're a Black woman, you're going to be meeting with C-level executives. They won't like you for a lot of reasons.
Right.
He was
Wow.
like, there's so many great things you have going for you. You're beautiful, you're well spoken. And I'm like, well spoken. What
What do
does
you mean
that
by
mean?
that? Right? What articulate?
Right. You're 21, you don't really know. But
I love it.
But in
Right.
all fairness, I didn't drink, and he was like, I'm going to send you for wine lessons, because what I don't want people to do is judge you on what they see as deficiencies, and
Wow. Wow. Wow.
you don't see it as necessities. Like,
Right.
because
I
I
don't see it as this. So he sent you for wine lessons?
wine lessons, I already know how to play golf, but he sent me for golf lessons. He was like,
That's
I want
amazing.
you to show up as your best self.
Wow. I love that.
You don't have to excel at all these things, but you can be able to speak to them so that those are things
Mm.
they won't judge you on. It's kind of like not being judged on the color of your skin.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
judged on all the things, because if you grew up in a neighborhood that wasn't close to a golf, or if you never
Right.
had you didn't
Right.
know, white wine tends to go with fish and red wine tends to go with beef. And you didn't know
Right.
a Cabernet from a Sauvignon Blanc, all
Right.
these things.
Right.
So he was like, I am going to feed you opportunities
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to be in the conversation
Right.
so that your youth,
Right.
color of your skin, your sexual orientation, none of
Right.
that can be challenged
Yes.
because you're
Yes.
so well rounded and well versed in all these other
I
things. So
love it.
I love that aspect of, what has served you well in life.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
me, new experiences have
Yes.
served me well. I have a motto: be teachable, be open.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes. So true.
I'm never, I tell my team all the time, if you're not learning in the role you're in the wrong role. And
That's
you can
right.
come to me and open my door and close my door and say, I have been bored for 6 months, and I
Yes.
won't take it personal. I
Right.
will find a way to challenge you all over again. Or it's time to go, and I'll help you get to wherever the go is. I don't have
Yes.
an answer for you.
Right.
New experiences, um, and even the traumatic ones, the birth of my son at 24 weeks,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
all those things have made me and molded me into the person that I am.
I love it. I love it. That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. So, with the knowledge that you have now, what message or what words of wisdom would you share with our young women of color coming up? And you've already dropped a lot of nuggets of wisdom. Anything in particular that you would tell to our young women of color that are coming up?
Gosh, outside of show up as you. So let's see.
Show up as you. I love that.
So I tell people a couple of things. One, travel.
Mm,
It opens your mind. And
yes.
travel doesn't have to be to Europe or
Right.
to Florida if you live in California. Really experience and again have new experiences. So
Right.
travel,
Right.
if you live in Atlanta, going to Augusta. If you
Right.
live in Chicago, going to Indianapolis. I don't know, but
Right. Right. Get out.
yeah, travel, have those new experiences,
Right.
to see the world for yourself. You're not
Right.
dependent upon a mate to take you there. Um, you get to see it through your eyes and you get to
Mm,
experience it through your eyes. Give back. Your community is
yes.
only as good as your service in it.
Oh, beautiful. I love that. I love that.
So don't. It's more than taking the cans. We used to. We're 3 kids in now, and the littlest one, the toddler, is like he's not ready for prime time because he is
Right.
prime.
Right.
My daughter
Right.
has learned to serve meals on Christmas and Thanksgiving before she
Right.
eats her meals.
Right.
My
Beautiful.
son has learned to take in canned goods to school when we're shopping, when we're buying our meal. How do we help other people eat?
Right.
Um, she has a lotion business. My daughter has a little
Oh, that's good.
and she understands that X% of her proceeds every quarter she has to pick an organization to donate to. So
That's
I'm
great.
trying to teach them how to be good citizens.
Citizens now, excellent. I love that. I love that. That's so important. So really learning, traveling for one,
Mhm.
and learning how to be a citizen in this world and be productive and give more to our communities is
Mhm.
essential. And honestly, if we had more of that happening, we would have less of the things going on.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. I don't know if
Yeah,
I'm going to judge for that, but I believe that too, honestly.
I
I
hope so.
do. I really do. So, in terms of your entire, your discussion and the things that you're sharing, it all seems to go a lot, go back to self-love,
Mhm.
self-discovery,
Mhm.
traveling and doing all those different things. What would you tell someone that had ventured into that area, into self-love and realized that they haven't found what they wanted? It wasn't what you know what I mean? They don't like what they see,
You can
like
change it, boo. You can change it.
right, right.
That's the best part about showing up as your authentic self. If you don't like who you are, you can change it. If you don't feel like you speak well, you can read more, you can take
Yes.
Toastmasters classes, you can practice speaking, you can push all of the elements. If you don't swim well, you can learn to swim.
Yes.
If you really wanted to do website design and you don't know, you can take a class. Like there are so many ways to get to who you want to be. If you want
Yes.
to learn fashion and you don't know, you can work in a retail store. So there are I love that we can literally be, and if it's anything, this great resignation period has taught us,
Yes.
you're not doing what you love. Now is the time to figure it out.
Yes. Oh,
So you can
awesome.
absolutely show up as who you want to be.
Hmm.
And I'm not talking about like on social, you're somebody, and then every day you're not that person. That's not
That's a whole nother story. That's, what, that's another story, especially, when I think about our young people and what they're
Mhm,
exposed to, and, really putting a certain image out there and not being that image. And,
mhm,
that's why those words that you're sharing in terms of showing up every day is who you are, the authentic self,
mhm.
trying to live authentically, is so essential. It's so important. It's so important
And
to,
it's okay to change. I
yeah,
think we forget that evolution is just a part of the process.
yes.
Look,
Oh,
I would love to be my size 2'4", but I'm gonna be content at 6, and then I'm gonna make something really good.
you look great. You look great, girl. Stop.
But when I was borderline at 8 and 10, I was like, "No, listen, you short, so don't be." I think again, it's who you are.
Right, right.
I can't tell people enough to every day wake up and just live your life to the full.
Yes.
It doesn't mean like go ziplining every single day, but if that's
Right,
on your list,
right,
if you need to wake up and journal and get your thoughts out and your feelings out, that could be the next bestseller. You never know.
right,
Um,
right, right, right. No, that's so true. That's so true. And I know a lot of what you're saying is kind of tying into my next question about how can women of color continue to overcome struggles. I think you hit so many different areas. Discovering ourselves, giving back to the community, all those different aspects of, meeting a struggle and overcoming it,
mhm.
are so essential, and is there anything else that you want to add? Because you're dropping knowledge, girl. You're dropping lots of little knowledge. People better be listening and taking it. Get their notebook out. What?
So
Anything else?
they asked me on a panel this week in Harlem, like the three things. And I remember Chandra Brooks, who is with Minted Cosmetics, and
Hmm.
she said, build your
Oh, yes,
tribe.
Minty. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
build your tribe. And
Hmm.
that's always one of mine too, is build your tribe. Your tribe could be your friends, it could be your work colleagues, it could be other businesses and brands that can help you. It could be resources, talent. Shoot, it could be your boo if that's who's
Right.
holding you up. But build your
Right.
tribe, right?
Mm.
The other thing I said, because she took that one as my 3 points. So my other 2 points were get rest and
Hmm.
ask for help.
Oh, yes. And how often?
Yeah,
That's essential. How many times as women we don't do it because we do it all anyway.
you do it all.
So especially women of color, we're like, okay, this, I can manage this, I can do this, I can do this. And so you're carrying around this weight of managing so many things. And it's very hard for us to say, you know what? I think I need help.
Yeah, my cousin was like, "Wait, you don't have a maid, girl? Bye, get a maid." And I was like, "I don't need no maid." First of all, house cleaning is very therapeutic for me.
It
Then
is,
I
it's
was like,
cathartic, right? It's like, yes, it's very,
yeah.
yes, I
Then
know.
I was like, hold up. But 1 week out of the month, if you get a maid, you get a sitter, you get to get a date night, you get to get your nails done, and it
What?
doesn't feel like everything is happening at the same time. So I was like, you know what? She right. Get a maid. Oh, now she can send a personal chef. Now that would be extremely
That's
helpful.
another story, right?
I know enough people with businesses who cater, and then I'm like, we are serious provider. We are serious purveyors of Uber Eats over here. So
Yes, oh,
we
I know.
have the annual membership for Thanksgiving. Thanks to COVID, we have been introduced to so many restaurants.
What? The same here, door dashing it.
You can get rest. Sometimes we forget a staycation could be in your
Yeah.
home,
Oh,
just doing something different in your home. That's not like especially if you have a home office, like actually closing the door and really experiencing your own home, your
yes.
bathtub, like your
Yes. Yes. We don't take time to do those things.
candles you want to burn, the holiday decorations you want to put up, or the
I love
TV
it.
or Netflix that you want to binge and watch, whatever the case may be. So staycations, it could be in your city, it could be at a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Vacations are wonderful ways to rest too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I say rest, ask for help, and
Yep.
then build your tribe, because your
Yep.
tribe will change your trajectory professionally
Yes.
and personally.
Oh, beautiful. Oh my goodness. Love that. Love that. All right. So one of my last questions, actually, I think it's my last question, is, as this beautiful queen in front of me, I know you have this beautiful crown and you have a lot of jewels already in it, maybe divinity, compassion, sincerity. What jewels do you know you have right now in your crown? And what jewels do you hope to place in there as you move forward in your life, on your journey?
So since I was young, I have prayed for wisdom and knowledge. So I truly believe
Mm,
the Lord has blessed me with that.
right.
I still pray for that because it's very important to me. I've
Yes.
read a lot to get there, and I did a lot
Right.
of studying. I have enough degrees to prove it. Um, I have wisdom and knowledge, faith,
Mm,
hope, patience.
beautiful.
Patience came, and I'm still working on patience. So I can put
Okay.
that in both buckets, right? Because I'm still,
Yes, 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 without a doubt.
but I'd like for it to come without the trials and tribulations. I just like to grow into it.
Right, without it. I don't need to learn to do it. I just want to build it, right?
And then on the other side, I could use a little bit more color.
Okay.
And I mean color, like not just with my wardrobe. Clearly, we
Right.
had that conversation,
Right, right.
but I could use a little bit more color outside of the lines, um, more
Okay.
flexibility, more patience and grace with myself.
Yes, 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 yes. That's what I've given myself this year too. The grace,
Yeah.
essential.
So
Yeah.
this shirt isn't for you right now. So go find a shirt that's for you.
Mm,
You know, um, this role is amazing. How can you go outside of the lines? What turns your purpose and passion into a deeper understanding of who you
mhm,
are, who you
mhm.
serve for, better serve for others. So
Right.
better as a wife in terms of color, better as a mom in terms of color.
I
And I
love
mean
it.
that like outside of the lines. Everything doesn't have to be so structured all the time. There's some flexibility there. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then,
Yes.
I could do better with time management. I have a friend who's really good at it. I'm like, how does
Right.
she get so much stuff done? And I'm like, because I can be easily distracted sometimes, and
Right.
I could do better with that. So,
Okay. All right. Well, that's wonderful. That's so beautiful. And you know what? In speaking with you, this afternoon, I can just know that you're going to accomplish those jewels and get a chance to, enjoy going out of the lines for a little bit.
I hope so. That's
Yeah.
my goal is,
Yes.
grace,
Right.
a little bit more
Yes.
color.
Yes, yes. I love it. I love it. Well, Miss Ylorie Taylor, thank you so much for joining us today on Keeping Queens in Balance. I know I look forward to more wonderful things about you and following you on Instagram. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Renee, for having me. It was my pleasure. Anytime. Anytime.
Excellent, excellent. All right now. All right, followers, tune in next time for another podcast of Keeping Queens in Balance. We look forward to seeing you. Be well.